Gonzalez. I was born in France from Spanish parents and have been living in Dublin for about nearly 11 years. And I teach flamenco here in the studio. My parents are Spanish, but I was raised in the south of France, and there was no flamenco, so I grew up dancing ballet and other forms of dance. And it's only when I came to Dublin that I actually found a class, and I was working, so I was settled. And I was going to Belfast about once a month to take classes there, and then I started bringing the teacher over here, and that was my introduction to flamenco dance. The school started about 3 years ago when we felt there was a need to provide education in flamenco because there were no classes. It's all about coordination and sense of rhythm, and you have to learn different forms of flamenco rhythms before you can really deepen your knowledge of it. But as a real beginner, the first few classes are going to be very overwhelming, but you teach your brain as well. So, the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to get into it. Not too many get scared, because I'm very careful to insist on the fact that it is a difficult discipline. You cannot learn flamenco in a few months. It's just you have to be serious about it and be patient, more especially. And the classes can be a bit of a mixed level. People are more improvers or more elementary level, and beginners come in and they tend to focus around them. So what I would say to them is to focus on themselves. After all, flamenco, you dance for yourself. It's something that is good for your own posture and for your own confidence as well. It's going to attract a lot of different nationalities, so people come in and maybe after a few years they move on and they go back to their country or just move. So we've seen people coming and going, but there's quite a strong core. Beginners find it very overwhelming because flamenco is a difficult discipline. So I try my best to explain that it takes some time to get into. It's not. People, I think, have this notion that flamenco is just a nice skirt and a flower in the hair and then off you go and you're dancing, but it is a difficult discipline. Flamenco as we know it is probably about 200 years old, that's it. It's not an ancient form of dance, but it has mixed origins, so it comes from Gypsy and Indian races and cultures, so it's kind of a big blend of music and dance. And flamenco actually didn't start with the dance, it started with the singing, el cante, o cantejondo, which is, chanas would be your equivalent here, I guess, to cantejondo. So even though flamenco is always, the enticing dancing, it is more than that. It is singing, it is guitar playing and percussion. Culture Night, we're very excited to take part this year. We'll be offering tasters here in the studios, in NearTV studios. So it will be probably a big group of people, and we'll do some basic flamenco steps, and just so people get a feel for what it can be to start learning flamenco. And then with a couple of the more advanced students, we're going to be doing some performances. So I can't disclose yet the location, but it's going to be some unusual places where we're just going to burst into some flamenco. I think with flamenco, what it is, it's a way to live, and it's identity as well. It's not just, it's much more than dancing, because it encompasses so many disciplines in a way. But for me, it's just the way I am, I guess. And in Spanish, you would say alguien es flamenco, so somebody is flamenco. It doesn't mean that they're the dance or whatever. It's just that they have that style and that attitude, and it can be cheekiness, it can be being more somber about certain things, but it is a way of life, and it is an identity of the people of Andalusia.
I'm Irish, from Waterford originally, but living in Dublin for the last 20 years, and I've been studying flamenco for the last 7 years. I started initially trying to learn to play flamenco guitar. I realised that was way beyond my level of guitar playing, so I decided to try my hand at dance instead, and found that more enjoyable and more achievable. It's very difficult. I think I had a slight advantage from playing guitar. I have a good sense of rhythm. So the rhythm patterns that you do with your feet, I would learn reasonably quickly. But where I struggled a lot, and still struggle today, is with posture, presence, and actually looking like a confident dancer when you're in front of people. That's hard. That's very hard. I enjoy learning to dance, and I enjoy dancing. So when I'm in class, for those 2 hours, I forget everything else and I can just focus on that. My day job tends to be stressful at times, and that I just need to get out of my own head and not think about that, and dancing really, really helps with that. I also get to meet lots of amazing people, dancers, singers, guitarists, especially through the festival that we organise. You get to meet these people on a social level and just engage with them, and that's also fascinating. And see inside their lifestyle, which is something I guess I wouldn't have the privilege to do if I was just a punter going to a show. What I get with flamenco is that the more technique and skill somebody has, the less it looks like they do. And they just seem to be dancing on stage and communicating in a very informal way. And that kind of attracted me to flamenco initially. And then when I started studying, I realized, oh, this thing that they do that looks easy is actually really, really, really hard. So they make it look effortless, and especially the real professionals at the top of their game, and it's very, very difficult, but very emotionally engaging. And that's the wonderful thing about flamenco, is that you don't stop dancing flamenco after a certain age. In fact, you only learn to start dancing after a certain age. With ballet, your career can end at 25. With flamenco, you can start at 35. I started at 38, and I'm still enjoying it. I guess for a parallel with guitarists is like you see young guitarists who play wildly fast, and the older mature guitarists who will play half a dozen notes and make it sound much better. It's the same with flamenco. You learn when to leave things out for more impact. If you've never taken a flamenco class before, then it's fun. If you have any interest in music or rhythm, it's definitely worth coming along. We'll do a little bit of dance steps, a little bit of clapping, and then there'll be a kind of group together where everyone who's there will actually just get together for the last couple of minutes and go through the steps as a group, with some people providing percussion, clapping support. So it's a fun way to kind of explore a new hobby. I mean, for me it was a new hobby 7 years ago, and now it's something that I don't ever want to let go of. If you've any interest at all in Spanish culture, dance, then come along, check it out. Maybe you'll find that it's something that you want to keep doing.